Good evening and welcome to TiVi Tuan-san News at 6. My name is Nguyen. In today's news, Hurricane Matthew bears down on the United States after carving a deadly path through the Caribbean. Vietnam reduces the jail term for a dissident blogger. And 9 Australians face court in Malaysia after stripping down to their swimmers at a Grand Prix. To today's top news, tens of thousands of people in Haiti remain in desperate condition after the Caribbean nation took a direct hit from Hurricane Matthew. Rescue workers are struggling to reach parts of the country with the exact death toll still unknown. Dubbed by the United Nations as the worst humanitarian crisis to hit Haiti since a devastating 2010 earthquake, Hurricane Matthew whipped Cuba and Haiti on Tuesday with winds of 230 kilometers an hour. The storm is now bearing down on the southeast coast of the United States, where mass evacuations are underway. In other world news, a clear winner has emerged to replace United Nations Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon, who will step down early next year. Members of the Security Council have overwhelmingly voted in favour of Portugal's former Prime Minister, Antonio Guterres. An engineer by trade, Guterres also led the UN Refugee Agency for a decade during crisis in Iraq, Afghanistan and Syria. He was nominated in a secret ballot despite a push for a female to be appointed for the first time. Mr. Guterres will be formally recommended to the General Assembly tomorrow. Officials in Italy say more than 11,000 migrants have been rescued off the Libyan Sea this week. Italy's Coast Guard say more than 6,000 migrants were saved on Monday, with over 5,000 migrants rescued on Tuesday and Wednesday. The latest surge in new arrivals means at least 142,000 migrants have reached Italy since the start of the year. About 3,100 have died making the perilous trip. The vast majority of refugees come from Africa, including Nigeria, Sudan and Somalia. Now to news in Vietnam. A court in Ho Chi Minh City has reduced the sentence of a convicted blogger whose family helped the communist regime during the Vietnam War, his lawyer said on Wednesday. Nguyen known by his pen name Nguyen, is one of scores of activists and bloggers behind bars in Vietnam, which has one of the worst press freedom rankings in the world. His lawyer told Radio Free Asia's Vietnamese service Ngọc had his sentence slashed from 4 years to 3 years in prison. The court also upheld a 3-year probation period for the 50-year-old. Ngọc was arrested in December 2014 in Ho Chi Minh City. In March this year, he was convicted of propaganda against the communist state, which carries a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison. South African Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa has wrapped up his working visit to Vietnam. The aim of the visit was to consolidate existing bilateral, political, economic and trade relations between South Africa and 2 nations, Vietnam and Singapore. At an address in front of Vietnamese media, Ramaphosa said the visit saw him engage in good, extensive and expansive talks with his Vietnamese counterpart. Ramaphosa added that trade between the 2 countries had grown tremendously, making Vietnam the 4th largest trading partner of South Africa in the Asian region. Ramaphosa is in Singapore today for the second leg of his 2-nation working visit. Meanwhile, a Vietnamese student has been arrested over the alleged murder of a Chinese-born Australian national in July this year. State-run news website VN Express reports that 22-year-old Quoc Phuc Ho Tay admitted to the police that he killed 51-year-old Alex Lee, who was a director of an education and tourism company in Ho Chi Minh City. The 2 men were allegedly involved in a romantic relationship after they met on a dating site in May. Tay, an undergraduate from Dong Nai province who was attending university in the southern city, claimed he hit and strangled Lee to death following a violent sexual act on July 15. Police say further investigation is underway. Back to news in Australia. 9 Australians have arrived at a court in Malaysia to hear if they'll be charged at last weekend's Formula 1 race. Photos and videos of the group drinking beer from their shoes while wearing underwear emblazoned with the Malaysian flag at Sunday's Formula One Grand Prix drew an outcry on social media, with many calling it a sign of disrespect. The 9 men, aged between 25 and 29, were celebrating after Australian Daniel Ricciardo claimed his maiden Formula One win of the season. Prosecutors in Indonesia say they are seeking a 20-year jail term for an Australian permanent resident accused of murdering her friend with cyanide-laced coffee. Jessica Wongso, aged 27, is facing trial over allegedly poisoning her friend Myrna Salihin at a restaurant in Jakarta in January. The two women studied together at the Sydney design school Billy Blue. Prosecutors allege that Wongso sought to avenge her pain over a breakup with her Australian boyfriend, whom Myrna did not approve of. Police say lab tests showed the coffee contained the poison, but a forensic toxicologist has questioned whether cyanide was the cause of her death. Meanwhile, New South Wales Police say they will be working closely with the retail industry to crack down on shoplifting in self-serve checkouts. Police say people need to realise it's illegal to shoplift no matter how small the theft is. Detective Superintendent Murray Chapman told reporters in Sydney that police will be working alongside supermarkets to assist in spotting shoppers abusing the self-checkout. Last financial year, the New South Wales Police received over 20,000 reports of shoplifting, with most going unpunished. That's all from TiVi Tuan-san News at 6. I'm Nguyen. Thank you so much for watching.